1. Smurfs Review. A Colossal Pile of Smurf. Worst film I've ever seen. 2. Smurfs 2025. A Magical Adventure Beyond Blue, Movie Review and Insights. 1. Smurfs Review. A Colossal Pile of Smurf. Worst film I've ever seen. Brace yourself. This new Smurfs reboot isn't just bad, it's a deep blue sinkhole of wasted talent and louder-than-necessary animation that left me wondering how anything this joyless made it past the pitch meeting. And here's where it gets controversial. Some will argue, it's only a children's movie, lighten up. Yet even by Saturday morning cartoon standards, the film feels like a cavity-inducing sugar rush with none of the fun aftertaste. Rating 1 out of 5. Longtime comic readers already know the little forest sprites like to replace random nouns with the word Smurf. Conveniently, that linguistic quirk lets a critic describe the overall experience, politely, as a giant steaming pile of Smurf. The marketing promised a breezy, sing-along woodland romp, something in the vein of DreamWorks' surprisingly delightful Trolls franchise. Unfortunately, this installment makes the middling Trolls band together look like late-career Hayao Miyazaki. Imagine the charm of a dented traffic cone paired with the emotional depth of elevator music, and you'll land in the neighborhood. Plot in a nutshell. The bumbling wizard Gargamel kidnaps Papa Smurf, forcing Smurfette to lead a globe-trotting rescue squad. On paper that sounds serviceable. In execution it's a screenplay so tin-eared I kept glancing at my watch in disbelief. Gargamel brags about a successful spite mission. Was that phrase left in by accident? While a sentient spellbook named Jaunty yelps cha-cha-cha every few minutes with zero narrative purpose. Toss in a dim-witted turtle sidekick who exclaims, "What the shell?" Not once but twice, and it feels as though an AI wrote filler dialogue after binge-watching 1990s kids' TV. Speaking of AI, did ChatGPT get an uncredited rewrite? And if not, should the producers have let it? You might pity the voice cast were it not for the fact that their very participation remains a mystery beyond an easy paycheck. John Goodman, Nick Offerman, and Kurt Russell lend grizzled gravitas to various Smurf elders. The filmmakers even retcon Smurf lore, turning our formerly carefree blue pals into descendants of some tiresome ancient guardian civilization. Blah, blah, mystical exposition, blah. Then there's Smurfette, voiced by R&B superstar Rihanna, whose smoky contralto is about as Smurf-like as Tom Waits gargling gravel. James Corden, fresh off the first 2 Trolls movies, plays a character literally called No Name, a Smurf who hasn't discovered his special talent. Cue endless double entendres about finding my thing. Enough to make adults in the audience wince while kids stare in puzzled silence. The adventure ricochets through live-action backdrops seemingly chosen at random. Postcard Paris, a sun-blistered patch of Australian outback, even a nondescript motorway near Munich. Gargamel's equally nefarious brother Rosamel, voiced by J.P. Carliak, chases our heroes across the globe, hoping to nab the talking spellbook and revive a defunct wizard cabal. Meanwhile, audiences are left juggling plot threads they stopped caring about 10 minutes in. Credit where it's due. The artists integrate the CGI Smurfs with real-world scenery reasonably well, and occasionally channel the comic strip's energetic line art in 3D. A late film sequence hops through alternate animation. 2. Smurfs 2025. A Magical Adventure Beyond Blue, Movie Review and Insights. Prepare to have everything you thought you knew about Smurfs turned upside down. This 2025 Smurfs film isn't just another adventure. It challenges the very foundation of Smurf identity that stood for nearly 70 years. Since Belgian artist Pierre Culliford created these blue icons in 1958, every Smurf's name reflected their core trait. Think grouchy, baker, or doctor. Smurfette alone was defined by her gender. But here's the seismic shift. This installment introduces Smurfs with ordinary human names like Ken and Ron. Love it or hate it, this twist fundamentally alters Smurf tradition. And that's just the beginning of the surprises. Longtime fans will still find comforting staples, cozy themes and the classic Smurf wordplay. But the innovations start immediately with a genius musical bait and switch. We're welcomed by the nostalgic Hanna-Barbera theme, only for it to explode into a modern Tyla pop anthem backed by a Busby Berkeley-inspired dance sequence. It perfectly sets the tone for this blend of tradition and reinvention. Meet the key players. alongside familiar faces like Clumsy, Brainy, and sound effects Smurf, who steals scenes with hilarious audio gags. We have Smurfette, energetically voiced and co-produced by Rihanna, and the wise leader Papa Smurf, brought to life by John Goodman's rich vocals. But here's where it gets intriguing. Papa guards a dangerous secret. He possesses a magical book, the last of 4 volumes keeping villainous wizards from world domination. His missing heroic brothers? Red-bearded Ken Nick Offerman, and blonde Ron Kurt Russell in flashbacks, whose names already break Smurf naming conventions. Enter the scene stealer. James Corden as No Name. A Smurf suffering an existential crisis because he lacks a defining trait for his identity. His poignant solo in the woods, where he accidentally manifests handbeam powers, unleashes the main conflict. This alerts Raismel J.P. Carliac, evil brother to classic foe Gargamel, who kidnaps Papa for torture. Cue a rescue mission where Ken, Smurfette, and No Name traverse treacherous realms, facing challenges that test their courage. And this is the part most people miss. Screenwriter Pam Brady masterfully contrasts brother dynamics. Raismel and Gargamel radiate mutual contempt, while Papa's family embodies loyalty and sacrifice. Supporting gems like Dan Levy as Raismel's unflappable assistant, Natasha Lyonne leading Orange Fluffballs, and Sandra Oh's fierce moxie add depth. Even Jimmy Kimmel's scene chewing tardigrade stay through mid-credits. Delights. Brady, known for Ruby Gillman, Teenage Kraken, and edgier works like Hamlet 2, excels at balancing heart and humor. The finale dazzles with multi-dimensional journeys featuring claymation, 8-bit game aesthetics, and childlike crayon worlds. These inventive sequences offer visual breathers from the classic Smurf palette while reinforcing the core message. Kindness isn't weakness. This lesson, wrapped in playful kid jokes and sly adult humor, reminds us why Smurfs endure. But let's get controversial. Does giving Smurfs normal names enhance the story or undermine decades of world building? And does No Name's arc about self-discovery resonate deeper than standard sidekick tropes? We're debating this in the comments. Join us. Where do you stand? Revolutionary refresh or step too far from Smurf roots?